Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining. We are going to pick up on Rosh Hashana Daf Daled on the base, Rosh Hashana 4b near the top. So on Sunday morning, we started the new sugya. So we had dealt with the first piece of the Mishnah, which told us that Nisan is the new year, the Rosh Hashana leMelachim, to kings, and we went through nearly two daf, why that is the case. What does that mean? Rosh Hashana is the new year for kings. Is it Nisan for Jewish kings, Tishrei for non-Jewish kings, and that whole discussion. The next thing in the Mishnah tells us that Nisan is also the new year Lirigolim, for the foot festivals. So what does that mean? So the Gemara says, firstly, Gemara asked the question, what do you mean the first of Nisan is the new year for foot festivals? There's no festival on the first of Nisan. We just had Rosh Chodesh Nisan last Thursday, no festival. So clearly it's referring to Pesach, which falls in the month of Nisan, and two understandings. That Rashi says that means really it's the 15th of Nisan, is the Rosh Hashana, the Regalim, it's Pesach, which is the new year for Regalim, and we'll see why that is relevant and important halachically. Or we saw the Ritva know that Rosh Hashana, the Regalim, the new year for Regalim, is indeed Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Yes, there's no festival on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, but somehow the new year for the festivals starts over at that point. It's a little difficult, that Ritva, as we'll see in our sugya today, exactly when the things kick in, when the deadline's up. So what's it relevant for? So the Gemara tells us for a avera called Baal Ta'acha. The Gemara explains that if someone donates something to the Beis HaMikdash, whether it would be a voluntary donation, they're going to bring a voluntary sacrifice, or they wanted to donate something to the Bedek HaBayis, to the sort of the general account of the Beis HaMikdash, or to the Kohanim, or they had an obligation to bring a korban, a chatas, an ashram. They had an obligation to bring a certain type of korban, a toad, or whatever it may be. And then the list extended to other things as well, to gifts which are not necessarily to do with the Beit HaMikdash, either ma'aseh, tithing, some which were brought to Jerusalem and eaten in Jerusalem. But we also saw tithings that are not linked to Jerusalem or the Beit HaMikdash, and those are more difficult to understand. For instance, leaving the corner of your field, or the things you've left over in your field, the produce that's been forgotten. All these things, what does it mean Ba'al Ta'acher? Meaning if you've got an obligation, or you've obliged yourself to bring and offer these things to God, or to the Kohanim, or to the Beis HaMikdash, or to the poor people, after a certain amount of time, linked to the festivals, after a certain amount of time, you've transgressed the issur of Ba'al Ta'acher, of delaying. And we brought the opinion in this, our Mishnah, which says Nisan, Pesach, is the Rosh Hashana, is the new year for Regalim, i.e., after this you are over in Baal Ta'acher. It's like the opinion of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai Rashbi, which we know, we're familiar with, who says that when are you over in Baal Ta'acher? When does Baal Ta'acher kick in? When is it that you've now sort of delayed too long, and it's an avera for delaying? It's after you've had 3 festivals, but they have to be 3 festivals in order. What is the order? Well, if Rosh Hashanah is Nisan, the order must be Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Okay, so that's what we saw so far. So we, as I said, we quoted at the bottom of Gimel Amud Aleph, or Daled Amud Aleph, for A, we quoted this thing, Tanu Rabbanon, Chayde Adomiv Ha'erchen Acharomiv Ha'kdoshes. So basically someone who has obliged themselves in all these different donations to the Beis HaMikdash, Chatois Vashomis Odus Ushlomim, those are different sacrifices. Sudakos Umaisus Bechor Umaiso Pesach, Leket Shicho Per, those are not sacrifices, those are not donations to the Beis HaMikdash per se, but those are tzedakahs, charity, tithings, gifts to the poor. Top of Daled on the base, top of 4b. Kivin Sha'avru Aleim Shlosh Regalim. Once 3 foot festivals have passed over the Baal Ta'acher, now that individual has transgressed the issur, the problem of Baal Ta'acher, of delaying. That's the first opinion. So there's really 5 opinions. We're going to see how this works. Opinion number 1 is 3 festivals. 3 festivals. Shosh Regalim, 3 festivals. Rabbi Shimon, could be any 3 festivals. According to this opinion, there's 3 festivals. So let's say someone donated something in the middle of the summer, in the month of Tammuz or Av. So they have now Sukkot 1, Pesach 2, Shavuos 3. It will be after Shavuos, at the end of Shavuos, then they'll have now past 3 festivals. I've gone through 3 foot festivals, and they'll be over in Baal Ta'acher. That's opinion number 1. Opinion number 2 is Rabbi Shimon Omer. Rabbi Shimon, we mentioned just before, Shloisha Regalim Kesidron. you need 3 festivals, but it's not just any 3 festivals in any order. You need them in a certain order. The Chag HaMatzos Techila, and the festival of Pesach. Chag HaMatzos, into the Torah calls it the festival of the matzah. We call it Pesach, meaning matzah is about what the Torah talks about what we do for God. We eat the matzah; it represents the haste we left, or the poor man's bread. The subjugation that we were subjugated to. But the Torah, we call it Pesach, talking about God passing over the miracle He did for us, famously. So therefore, according to Rabbi Shimon, the second opinion is 3 festivals, but they have to be in order. So Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. And therefore, as we said before, it could be there will be times that will be actually 5 festivals. If I donate something, or I promise something, or I have chayv in a korban, it's only after Pesach, so I have to go through 5 festivals, Shavuos, Sukkot, and a whole year of Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Rabbi Meir is the third opinion here. Kivin sha'avar aleim regel echad over b'ba'al ta'acha. So Rabbi Meir says, no, 1 festival. As soon as 1 festival has transpired, has passed, then I'm already chayev in ba'al ta'acha. If I fail to bring the korban, to bring the donation to Beis Hamikdash, I fail to give the charity, fail to give the tithes that I'm supposed to be giving. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, the 4th opinion, is the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. Kivin she'avru aleim shnei regalim over b'ba'al tacha. Here, again, another opinion, 2 festivals. And the Gemara, as we go on today, will explain the basis, the reasoning, the rationale, the droshes for each and every one of these opinions, why their opinion is what it is. That's the 4th opinion, was the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. And then finally, Rabbi Eliezer ben Rabbi Shimon, the 5th opinion, Kivin she'avar aleim Chag HaSukkos. It's all about Chag HaSukkos. So as long as Chag HaSukkos has gone by, then you'll be over aleim b'ba'al ta'acha. So it could be 1, just Sukkos. You donate something before Sukkos, you've got Sukkos. It could be up to 3, because it could be before Nisan, before Pesach, and then be Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkos. Okay. So my Tama, the Tanakama. So what is the reason of the Tanakama, the first opinion, the unnamed opinion, who said it's just 3 festivals? 3 festivals in whatever order, but once 3 festivals have transpired, you're over in Ba'al Ta'acha. So the Gemara says, Michnei minai hu solik. Since the verses, we were talking about the festivals, Lama li lemahada umichtav. So why does the Torah now have to repeat and say, and this is a verse, Torah Shalim, this is a person Re'eh. So Parshas Re'eh is the parsha we read on Yomim Tovim. Kol HaBechor would read it on this year, 8th day Pesach, Thursday, 2 weeks from now. Since it's Yizkar, I think we'd read even, not just Kol HaBechor, we'd read Aseh Ta'aseh. What does it say? Shalish Pamim B'Hashana, 3 times in a year. Yiro Ekel Zuchur Ches B'nei Hashem Elokecha. All the males to show their face before the Lord your God, B'Hamokim Asher Yivchar, in the place that He will choose. And remember, this is sort of the finale. This is the sign off. We've already been talking about all the different chagim. We go in detail each of the chagim. What does the verse tell us? V'chag hamatzos, v'chag hashuos, v'chag hasukkos. On these festivals, matzos, shavuos, and sukkos, v'lo yoras panay Hashem reikam, and you shouldn't see the face of the Lord empty-handed. So the first opinion says, we've already been talking about all the festivals. We know what we're dealing with. We know that we are talking about the chagim. So why does the Torah go ahead and recount them all, list them all? Shma mino leba'al ta'acha. So it's coming to teach me about this halacha of ba'al ta'acha. The festivals are important, relevant for another halacha of ba'al ta'acha. V'lo yiro es panei Hashem reikam. You have to, when you come to the Beis Hamikdash, when you come to the festival, that's the time to bring the things you've donated. That's the time to bring the karbonos that you are chayiv, and they list them all. So you see, you need 3 festivals. You need 3 festivals. It just mentions the 3 festivals. Rabbi Shimon says, Eino tzarich lema b'chag hasukos sheboi diber hakosuf. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was the opinion that you need 3 in order, and Pesach is the first one. He says, wait a minute. You know what? It's not so clear that the Torah here didn't need to repeat all of the festivals. Let me quickly pull up for you actually the parsha in Parshas Re'eh. Let's see if we can pull that up, and then we can see this together. I think it'll make things a little bit clearer. So I'm just pulling up Sefaria now. This is Tanakh. This is Devarim Tes Zayin, right? And then I'll share this screen with you, and we can go through this together. So how do I share the screen? Let's come back here. Share screen. Let's share this screen. Yeah, people with me? Okay, so
Yeah.
we're here, Tes Zion. People with me here, so
Yeah.
Tes Zion. No, Yud
Fine.
Zion. So Tes Zion here. So we have, as I said, it's the Kol HaBechor, the end of Parshas Re'eh, Kol HaBechor, that the firstborn has to be given to God. Then it's a Shomrei Chodesh Aviv, talk about the festival of Pesach. That's one paragraph all about Pesach. Next one, Shiva Shavuos Tispalacha. 7 weeks you count for yourself, i.e. the Chag HaShavuos, the festival of Shavuos. Chag HaSukkos is Tasalacha. Then, as I said, it concludes here, Sholish Pamim Bashon Yeo Kuzachurcha, and this verse, Chag HaMatzos, Chag HaShavuos, Chag HaSukkos. So that's what the Gemara first said, the first opinion. We've just talked about Pesach, we've just talked about Shavuos, we've just talked about Sukkot. Now are you repeating them to tell me about Ba'al Tach? Rabbi Shimon says no. Pesach, Shavuos, they were the previous paragraphs. Maybe we need to repeat them. Chag HaSukkos, literally 3 verses ahead. We're talking about Sukkot. This paragraph. This is what we're talking about. The fact that Torah now repeats B'Chag HaMatzah, B'Chag HaShavuot, B'Chag HaSukkos. Now we're repeating Chag HaSukkos. Now I'll come back to our Gemara. The fact that the Torah specifically repeats Chag HaSukkos, therefore it's coming to tell me what? Says Rabbi Shimon, Sheboy Diber HaKosov Lama Ne'ema. So if we're already talking about Sukkot, as I showed you now, we're talking in the paragraph of Sukkot, so why doesn't it repeat it again? To tell me that this one has to be last, that Sukkot has to specifically be the last one. So the Gilyoni Hashas explains, according to the Ran, so why is it that they have to be in order? So why is it the Torah makes it that for everybody, meaning if it's just 3 festivals, right, it will therefore no, sorry. So we'll see. This is in the other opinion. This is in the other opinion. Okay, so that's the Rabbi Shimon. That's the second opinion. Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir, we said my Tama. So Rabbi Meir said just one festival. As soon as one festival has gone by, you're over in Baal Tacha. Rabbi Meir, my Tama. What's the reason of Rabbi Meir? Dichsiv v'vasa shama v'heveisem shama. The verse says, "You shall come there and you shall bring there." This is a verse not in where we just saw before, but rather this is a verse a little bit earlier on. This is talking about the Beis Hamikdash and bringing the Karbanos, and that God will choose a place to go. You shall come there. We talked about that. I can't remember now which year, about seeking out Yerushalayim, that you need to seek it out. In a lot of Shiurim, we talked about this in one of these Shiurim, the need for us to seek out the Beis Hamikdash, just like Abraham had to seek out the land of Israel. I forget how it was relevant. And then it says, so what does it mean? So therefore, what does Rabbi Meir explains that to mean? Rashi explains. Look at Rashi, Rabbi Meir, Amalecha. Where the cursor is. Since the Torah tells us, bring your korbanos, meaning the pasuk there is telling us God's gonna point a place in Israel where it'll be the Beis Hamikdash, and you'll bring there your korbanot. So Rabbi Meir understands, since the Torah has told us you're supposed to bring your korban to the Beis Hamikdash at the first opportunity, Berega Rishon, that's the time to bring it. You've missed the time, that's been delayed. Rabbi Meir has got a much more draconian approach. I set the homework. If a teacher sets the homework, you've got a deadline for something. There's no pushing off the deadline. There's no second and third chances. You're supposed to bring it in the first opportunity, the first chag. So bring it the first chag. You don't bring it the first chag, you're over on Baal Ta'achet. So the Gemara now takes a little bit of a detour. So v'rabbanon, meaning the first opinion, or really the other opinions. So how do they address the proof of Rabbi Meir? So Rabbi Meir seems to have a slam dunk proof. He's got a verse. It's logical. God commands us to bring the korban there on the first opportunity. So why shouldn't Baal Ta'acha kick in immediately? So we say v'rabbanon. So do you know what we use that verse for? Hahula asay. Hahula asay. Meaning there's 2 things going on here. There's an assay. There's a positive commandment to bring your korbanot, to bring your tithes, to bring your obligations, to bring your donations to Jerusalem at the first festival. That's a positive command. However, Ba'al ta'acher is a negative command, is a lo sa'aseh. Yes, we discussed in last week's share, it's possibly a lo sa'aseh she'ein bo ma'isa. So even though generally in a lo sa'aseh, it carries with it more weight, there's punishment. Possibly if you transgress it, there'll be malchus, there'll be lashes. That doesn't apply in a lo she'ein bo ma'isa. There's no act. It's a cessation. It's the not doing something. It's not a positive negative positive act. Therefore, there's no malchus. Nonetheless, Baal Ta'ach is a lo saseh. So from the pasuk, from the verse, the proof of Rabbi Meir, everyone else uses that as a mitzvah aseh. There's the command. But Baal Ta'ach is sort of the flip side. Is the corollary is the one step further. That if you let it transpire more than one festival, 2 or 3 or 3 in order, whatever it may be, then you're ready. Baal Ta'ach kicks in. So I saw it here, the Bnei Yeshua and the Turei Even and various other Acharonim explain that you're only over on this assay on the yontif itself. Meaning, Rabbi Meir says you have to bring it on the first festival, and if you don't, you've been over an assay. You've sort of let go this assay. You've not fulfilled the mitzvah's assay. So what happens after the first festival? And we said other opinions, everyone else here says after the first festival, there's Baal Ta'ach, there's already a lois aseh. But the other opinions, Rabbanon and the rest, who say that pasuk of Vos Hashomo, Ve'eves Hashomo, Vos Hashomo, you have to bring your korbanos on the first festival, is only an assay. So what about after the first festival? Is that all the while you don't bring it, all those months between the various festivals, are you over an assay? Are you letting slip? Are you transgressing on the fulfillment of this positive mitzvah? Says Acharonim, no. Only at the time of Yontif, meaning the pasuk is you shall come there and you shall bring there your korbanos, meaning only at the time you're supposed to be coming and bringing your korbanos, i.e. on the chagim themselves, then the assay kicks in again. So, for instance, I donated something before Pesach. I come to the Beis HaMikdash, I come to the temple at Pesach. I have now a mitzvah's assay to bring the korban, to bring my donation. If I don't bring it over the Yontif, all the while I'm not bringing it, I'm over on the assay, I'm transgressing the assay. Yontif finishes, I go home, finished. The essay is now lifted off again. Comes the next Yontif Shavuos, I'm back in Yerushalayim, the essay kicks in again. Again, it will come off. Sukkot will kick in. After Sukkot, then the lois assay kicks in. The Baal Ta'acher kicks in. Yeah, okay. So the Turas Melech it sort of qualifies this a little bit. It's only if I'm actually coming to the Beis HaMikdash, meaning it's not every Yontif it kicks in. Let's say I'm not bringing something to the Beis HaMikdash. I'm not coming that Chag. I've got a patur. It's only if you're coming to the Beis HaMikdash and you're not bringing the korbanot or the donation you promised, then that's when you are transgressing this assay. Okay, that's the opinion of Rabbi Meir, the third opinion, and Harabon, how everyone else uses his text. But Rabbi Meir, so what about Rabbi Meir? So why doesn't he learn the pasuk like everybody else that's only talking about an assay, but not about a lois assay? Why do Rabbi Meir says even the lois assay, even the negative commandment kicks in immediately after one festival? So Rabbi Meir says, he says, as Rashi explained, no. It's more of a harsh approach. You had your opportunity, you had the positive commandment to do it, now you failed to fulfill the positive commandment. Immediately in consequence, the lois aseh, the negative commandment of Baal Ta'ach, also kicks in. The fourth opinion, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, what's the reason of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov who says you need 2 festivals? Interesting. He said after 2 festivals, you'll be over on Baal Ta'ach. So he says, because the verse says, these are the things you shall do for God on your festivals. This is the pasuk from Pinchas, right? Parashas Pinchas is the parasha of all the musafim, the karbanot musaf, and then the Torah tells us you shall do all of these. This is the final verse in Pinchas that concludes the whole parasha of the musaf. These you shall do for God on your festivals, and then it says not only the musaf festival, not only the musaf karbanot, the unique, specific sacrifices for the festivals, but even the dreichem, your vows, and the beisechem, your gifts, all the different karbanot, also you should be bringing them on the festivals. So what does the Torah says? You shall do these on your festivals, plural. Miut moyadim shnaim. What's the smallest number of plural, i.e. 2? So that's why 2 festivals. Again, so what does everybody else do? It's a nice pasuk, it's a good drasha. You have an obligation to do these on your festivals, not one festival. The drosha is two festivals. You have two festivals in order to do it. So what does everybody else do with this first? So they use it l'chad Rabbi Yonah. They use it for a drosha of Rabbi Yonah. The Amar Rabbi Yonah. So Rabbi Yonah taught us all the festivals are linked one to the other. They are equated one to the other. That all of them, the sacrifices of the Yontif, what are the Karbanat Musaf coming for? What do they serve a purpose as? They serve the purpose to Mechaper al Tumas Migdash, Ukudoshav. They serve the purpose to atone for anyone who may have mistakenly salid or made the Beis Hamikdash impure, Ukudoshav, and the holy items and those who serve in it. So as Rashi explains, Acacia de Rabbi Yonah, what's going on? Sorry, going wrong with my computer. Acacia de Rabbi Yonah, what does the Gemara say? Sorry, something just come up on my computer. Okay, Acacia de Rabbi Yonah, the Masechah Shavuos, Itzrich Loima Shekol Seirei Haragolim Mechaprim Al Tumas Mikdash Ukudoshav. We need this verse to tell us the Seirei Haragolim, the Korban Musaf, the Seirim, the rams that were bought as part of the Musaf on the Yamim Tovim, were coming to Mechapet, to atone for the impurities caused to the Beis Hamikdash. Interesting. We learn it all from Rosh Chodesh. The Chsiv Beidov says Avin Ha'eda. When it comes to the Musaf of Rosh Chodesh, we're told it comes to carry, to absorb and absolve the sin of the community in regards to the Beis Hamikdash. So too, we see from here, it's not only Rosh Chodesh, it's also all the other festivals. The Musaf offering serves as an atonement, of the other festivals, of messing up the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, let's just see Tosfos here on the side, because we didn't see the Tosfos. Right, that was the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said you need the three of them in order. How do I know you need three of them in order? For the first, and there in Parshas Rei repeats Chag HaMatzos, Chag HaShavuos, Chag HaSukkos, and the fact that you have there, we're talking about Sukkos, and Sukkos is the last one, and repeat Sukkos, that must be Sukkos is the last one, and therefore you need them in order, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkos. Zuhi Girsas HaKuntras. V'after Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Doshim Meinin Echad, Elo D'Maslo Shazeh Gorim, U'Maslo Shazeh Gorim. Okay, V'Rabbeinu Chanan El Goris, Ein Tzorich Lema B'Chag HaMatzos Sheboi Pasach HaKoso T'chila. Lo Manam Aloma Shazeh Rishona. So actually, Rabbeinu Chananel learned this Gemara slightly differently. We said, because it was in the paragraph of Sukkot, and it repeats Sukkot, therefore Sukkot must be the last one. The issue we'll have with that ends up being that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who needs three in order, and the opinion who says you just need Sukkot, are actually learning it out from the very same place, and therefore it's a bit indistinguishable. How can they learn the same verse and come to very different conclusions? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai needs three in order, and the opinion of Rabbi Elazar Bar Rabbi Shimon, the last opinion we haven't really explored yet properly, just says Sukkos, and they learn it from the same pasuk. So Rabbi Hananel learns the proof of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai slightly differently. Again, we're talking in the parasha of Re'eh of the Yomim Tovim. He says since we began with Pesach, and now the Torah repeats it again in this order, the Chag HaMatzos, the Chag HaShavuos, the Chag HaSukkos, is sort of re-emphasizing the point. I guess this is one way to learn Rabbeinu Chananel, re-emphasizing the point that the order the Torah presents them in this parsha itself, i.e., in Parshas Re'eh, is not a random order. It's not just Pesach happens to be first. We see twice in this parsha, both in the actual ordering of the parshas and then in the repeating the line which repeats all three festivals, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. Pesach comes first, and therefore that's the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Pesach he's really learning it from the fact that Pesach comes first, not that we're repeating Sukkot and Sukkot comes last. Yeah. Okay. Back to the Gemara. Rabbi Shimon, my Tama. So what's the reason that Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon, who is, I just said, with the opinion, who said you just need Sukkot. As soon as Sukkot has passed, that's when you've been over in Baal Tacher. Tanya, Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon, as we just discussed. That verse, Chag HaMatzos, Chag HaShavuos, Chag HaSukkos, is in the parasha of Sukkos, is in the Pesukim when the Torah talks about Sukkos. So Lama Nema, so why does it repeat Sukkos? Lo Meshazeh Gorem. That Sukkos is the one that causes Baal Ta'acher to be implemented, for Baal Ta'acher to be activated. Okay, so For him, it could be you need 3 festivals, because if I donated something or I have a carbon that's outstanding from before Pesach, it'll be 3 festivals. It could be 1 festival. What I was going to say before is very nicely is that the Gilyoni Hashas explains according to the Ran, why is it the Sukkos? Why is it? According to Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Loza, Rabbi Shimon, this 5th opinion, he is basically the only opinion. Basically, everyone ends up having Baal Ta'acheh come at the same time. Because the other opinions, right, it's really personal. It depends on when you donated something or when you became chayiv in something. So if it's 1 festival, that 1 foot festival, it'll be according to what point in the year every individual became chayiv, and then the next festival they'll be over in Baal Ta'acheh. Even according to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that you need 3 in order, well, let's say 2 people, 1 person donated it just before Sukkot, and the other person had donated it before Pesach. Well, comes after Sukkot. Well, 1 person now will be over in Baal Ta'acheh. 3 festivals have passed in order. But according to for the other person, no, he needs Sukkot plus now 3 more. So basically, this 5th opinion, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, is the only opinion where everybody is over in Baal Ta'acheh at the same point. Because for him, it's just Sukkot. Whatever you donated, however many festivals have passed, as soon as Sukkot comes, the first Sukkot after you became chayiv in the carbon, you're over in Baal Ta'acheh. And he explains, the Ran explains, it's because it's in order that everybody should become chayiv in Baal Ta'acheh at the same time, in order everybody should mezarez one another, should encourage and remind and be an impetus for one another that, this is the Sukkot, this is the time of year. If you haven't brought any of your components, you haven't made any of your donations, there's no getting out of it. It's not like, I'm on a different trajectory, I'm on a different time scale. No, my one is not chayiv for another few Yom Tovim. No, everyone becomes chayiv at the same time, and therefore no one can sort of exempt themselves. No one can say, it doesn't apply to me. This applies equally to everyone. Continues the Gemara. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, Hai b'chag HaMatzah v'chag HaShavuos v'chag HaSukkos my dorshu be. Okay, so 2 opinions, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon, they learn about Baal Ta'acheh from this verse. B'chag HaMatzah v'chag HaShavuos v'chag HaSukkos v'lo yiro es pnei Hashem reikom. You can't, that verse we just been discussing in Parshas Rei. Either 3 in order, starting from Pesach, or Sukkot alone. All the other opinions, why don't they learn it out from this verse? Why don't they not learn it about Ta'acheh? Why is it they learn it out from all the other places we've seen it? So the Gemara tells us, what do they use it for? What do they use this verse for? They use it for something Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Oshia teaches us. We came across this in our Moe Cotton Shir a little bit. How do I know that on Atzeres, on Shavuos, there is a concept of Tashlumin? What is Tashlumin? Basically, each and every Yontif has carbonot that you have to bring. An Olas Riyah, Shalnei Simcha. There are certain carbonot that it's not just about coming to Jerusalem and showing your face in the Beis Hamikdash. It's bringing a doron. It's bringing a gift. One of them is the Olas Riyah. It's an Ola. It's a burnt offering. It's completely burnt on the altar, given to God. And then you have the Shalnei Simcha. You also have to bring peace offerings, where there's some of it's put on the Mizbeach, but much of it is eaten by the Bailim, by the owners. And as we'll discuss in my Shabbos HaGolud Rosh this year, on Friday, please God, hope you'll join me, the Sugir of Simchas Yontef. I think this year is an important one when many of us are feeling a little bit despondent, dejected, alone, to remind us that the Yontef is coming up, and indeed there's a mitzvah Simchas Yontef. It is that time to rejoice, to be happy, although on Pesach is actually the one Yontef that the Torah doesn't mention Simcha. Maybe we'll touch on that. But there's a mitzvah of Simcha. And as we'll see, primarily, at least from the verses, it seems to be linked to the Karban, the Shalmei Simcha, these Karbana people will bring. So on Pesach and on Sukkot, you have all Yontif. You have 7 days, maybe by Sukkot even 8 days. We'll see in the Gemara. The Gemara's question is, how do I know when Shavuos you've got more than 1 day? Shavuos is 1 day in Israel. How do I know you've actually got more than the 1 day to bring your Karbanot? You've got what's called Tashlumin. You've got a makeup period that you can bring. If you didn't bring it on the original Yontif, and even according to Beis Shammai, if it fell on the Shabbos, you couldn't bring it on the original Yontif. You can't bring such Karbanot on a Shabbos, even if it's Yontif. So you have to use the Tashlumin. So how do I know Tashlumin? How do I know Shavuot, which is a 1 day festival, indeed has all 7 days. You have a period of 7 days to bring the karbanot. By the way, from this, people have the custom not to say tachanun after Sukkot, after Shavuos for another 6-7 days, because this idea there was tashlum and there was the opportunity to the afterglow of the yontiv of bringing the karbanot. Do you know how I know Shavuos? Sorry, Shavuos has tashlumin. Our pasuk, our verse. The fact that we link makish chag Shavuos to chag hamatzos to chag hamatzos, because the verse links Shavuos to matzos to Pesach. Chag hamatzos yishli tashlumin kol shiva. Just as when it comes to Pesach, as I said, you have the whole 7 days of the festival to bring those karbanot, those sacrifices, those specific festive sacrifices you are obliged to bring. So too, yesh lo tashlumin kol shiva. Av chag haShavuos. So too on Shavuos, yesh lo tashlumin kol shiva. You have 7 days to bring the karbanot. Ask the Gemara, v'leikish lechag haSukkos. Wait a minute. That's a bit of a premature conclusion, because the verse doesn't just link chag hamatzos to chag haShavuos. It doesn't just link Shavuos to Pesach. There's a third thing, chag haSukkos. It links it to Sukkos as well, meaning it's linked to both matzahs, to both the Pesach and Sukkos. And I might say, ma'ala lon shmoina afkan shmona, just as Sukkos has 8 days. Sukkos isn't a 7-day festival. Sukkos is an 8-day festival. So too here, afkan shmona, maybe when it comes to Shavuos, you don't have 7 days to bring your karbanot for Shavuos. You have 8 days. Answers the Gemara, shmini regal b'fnei atzmo. No. Yes, indeed, Sukkos is not like Pesach. It's not 7 days. It's 8 days. But that 8th day is not called Sukkos. That 8th day is actually a new yontif. It's a regal b'fnei atzmo. It's actually Shmini Atzeres. It's a unique, independent yontif. When we say Shmini Atzeres is a unique, independent yontif, that is in regard to these 6 things. Anyone know what the 6 things are? Pazar Keshav is an acronym for Pazar Keshav for Pius, Zman, Regel, and Bracha. And what does that mean? Pius. It means that they, for the 7 days of Sukkot, the Pius means that the 7 days of Sukkot, they had many karbanot, right? They had the 70 bulls they were bringing in the Beis Hamikdash, and we know on the Chagim, all the 24 mishmaros, all the 24 groups of Kohanim would serve in the Bet Hamikdash. It wasn't just the one, usually just one per week. Everyone would serve, and they would divvy up the giving out of the karbanot in sort of, they would give out all 7 days in one go. They'd make a lottery, they'd make a roster all together. The Pius, but however, when it came to the 8th day, it was a completely new accounting. They would re-pick again who was to have the honor of bringing up the karban musaf. Zman, meaning there's a birchas shechionu. There's a new birchas shechionu. Regel, okay, I once gave a drasha on this. Regel, what does it mean? It's a new regel. Tosfos will see deals with this. That it's got a new name. It's called a different regel. It's called a different yontif. Kishav, kuf is karban. It's a different karban musaf. On Shmini Atzeres, it doesn't have the descending order of rams. It has its own unique karban musaf. Shir, either here that the Kohanim would sing a different shir shal yom, a unique song in the Beis Hamikdash to accompany the karbanos, or shir maybe also a reference to the specific song that the blessing that the king, the Melech, would give based on the blessing that Shlomo Melech gave on Sukkot in the dedication of the Beis Hamikdash. And bracha is either bracha is referring to that, or bracha could be referring to in I think in Birchas Hamazon, the way we would say Birchas Hamazon. What does Rashi say?
He says Shir Shal Melech.
Shir Shal Melech. That's the last one. Is bracha is the Shir Shal Melech.
Bracha.
The Asma Varichin Hayis Melech Zeichel Chanukah Zabai. That's why I said before. So what's the Shiru? What's the Shir? The Shir Asma is Shir Shal the Kol Sukkah Shema. Yeah. So it's a different Shir Shal Yom. And finally, as I said, bracha is what the king. The king made the bracha like they did to recreate what was in the inauguration of the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, so Gemara says, okay, so Sukkos is, so we said, you know why we said maybe Shavuos, don't link it, don't equate it to Pesach 7 days, equate it to Sukkot that has 8 days. The Gemara said, no, Sukkot is not really 8 days. Sukkot is 7 days, and then there's a new Yontif called Shmini Atzeres. The Gemara says, no, it's not really a new Yontif. It's only a new Yontif for these 6 things. But when it comes to Tashlumin, Shmini Atzeres, you are still allowed to bring your Karbanot that you were chayav on the first day of Sukkot. So the Olas Riyah, the Shalmei Simcha, the Karbanot that you have to bring for the festivals, the foot festival Karbanot that we brought on already the first day of Sukkot, you should have been bringing it. You can still bring it on the 8th day of Sukkot. Meaning for Tashlumin, Sukkot is considered one long festival, not 2 different independent festivals. Divrei Akol Tashlumin Rishon. It's not Mishal Chag Yom Tov Harishon Shal Chag Chagig Es Kol Harega Yom Tov Achar Shal Chag. So Gemara says, if you don't, as I said, you don't bring the karbanos on the first day, you can continue celebrating. You complete celebrating. The celebration is done by bringing the karbanos, all of Yom Tov, even the last day. Gemara has an answer to fasta murabaloy, to fasta muat, to fasta. You're right. We could have equated that with Shavuos. Shavuos is a one-day festival. We want to know, do you have more time to bring the karbanos? We say, yes, you do. How do I know? Because we link it to the other festivals. So how many more days do you have? Well, there's 2 options. We can link it to Pesach, which has 7 days. We can link it to Sukkot, which has 8 days. Gemara has a rule. It falls back on a famous rule. To fasta merubah to fasta, meaning don't bite more than you can chew. Basically, we always will make the least big chiddush. We have to make a chiddush here. We have to make an extrapolation. We have to come up with a new rule. We're not going to go to the farthest extreme. We're not going to come up with the thing which is the most novel. We will take the least novel, the least radical idea. So here we say, well, you can link it to Pesach 7, or you can link it to Sukkot or 8. Okay, we're now having to extend Shavuos over the more than one day. We'll extend it to the lesser amount. We'll be more conservative in our chiddush and what we're extending it to. We'll link it to Pesach, to 7 days, and not to Sukkot, not to 8 days. Here, Tosfos, just we'll conclude with this. Tosfos Pezar Keshav. So, Pirush HaKodesh Regal B'fnei Atzmo. That, so what does it mean? Shmini Atzeres is it's a Regal B'fnei Atzmo. So it's a unique festival. It's its own festival. She'ein Shem Chag HaSukkos Elov. It's not called Sukkos. As I said, in benching and in davening, we call it a different name. We use a different name for the festival. What does it mean in new blessing? That's Rashi we quoted, that the king would say this blessing. But here, let's skip a little bit on today's verse. Yeah. Rabbeinu Tam, so Rabbeinu Tam, what does it mean it's a regal b'fnei atzmo? So there's a halacha by Yom Tov that when you come to the festival, when you come to Yerushalayim, you can't just show your face one day, you have to stay overnight. And you only can leave the next morning. But you could technically go home during Chol HaMoed. He's saying Shmini regal b'fnei atzmo because Rabbeinu Tam, he needs a lina b'fnei atzmo. You have to stay overnight in Yerushalayim. Okay. Rabbeinu Chananel, this is what I wanted to show you. Rabbeinu,
where you were before.
A few above.
Just after Rabbeinu Tam.
Yeah. Rabbeinu Chanel Pirush the Inin Avelis. What does it mean? Shmini Atzeres is a regal b'fnei atzmo, it's its own unique independent yontif. I wanted to show you this because it links back, reminds us back to Moed Katan, which we just learned. Therefore, the matter of Avelis. Which from the Amrina b'Moed Katan b'Perek Basra, Hakoyim Meisa Shira Yomim Kodim L'Regal, Ba'Lemenu Gezerah Shloshim. There's someone who they, God forbid, bury their loved one 7 days before Yom Tov. So Shiva, basically, Yom Tov comes along, and Shiva's already over. So Yom Tov comes along and takes away Shloshim. The Zindan de Laka Shiva Kodem Arego. So let's say there are times that you're in the middle of Shiva. It's not like you finish Shiva and now Yom Tov comes and wipes away Shloshim. You could even be in the middle of Shiva and Yom Tov wipes away Shloshim. What's the case? Before Sukkot. You start to sit Shiva 2 days before Sukkot. Sukkot wipes away the rest of Shiva. And Regal b'fnei atzmo, that's what the Gemara is telling us. Shmini Atzeres will wipe away Shloshim. Will wipe away Shloshim. Okay, we discussed that at the time, whether that's true, whether we pass in this la halacha. Depends, I guess, if you're nohik, if it depends if you hold that you have to be Naheg Avelis Befarhesim, but sinner of a Yontif or not. All these discussions. But again, here we see the relevance. This is the opinion of Rabbeinu Tam here, quoting out the Gemara in Vayikachon, Rabbeinu Chananel here, sorry, about Shmini Atzeres wiping away Avelis, having that double potency of Yontif. So we will stop the recording now, and we'll pick this up